FoxBangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, we'll hear about a new system at local jails that will inform victims when an inmate has been released. Plus, an effort to bring rail service to the Bangor region has now been derailed in Augusta. And Belfast is celebrating grant money that will help it spruce up the city. Good morning, everyone. I'm Craig Colson. Emma Smith has the day off. Happy Friday to you. We made it through another work week, and we thank you for joining us this morning. We'll have all the day's news coming up, but first a check of that important weekend forecast. Looks like today will be a lot like yesterday, lots of cloud, maybe a break of sun here and there, and just a chance of a scattered shower. We'll have a better chance of rain as we head through the evening tonight into the first part of Saturday. Yes, it looks like the first part of the weekend will be a little bit wet. For more on what we can expect, let's turn things over to Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig, thank you very much. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Penobscot Boat Tours. Set sail with Penobscot Boat Tours for an unforgettable journey along the picturesque Penobscot River and beyond. Visit our website for more information and to schedule a boat tour at penobscottours.com. Welcome aboard. Already some areas of dense fog greeting us this morning, mainly along the coast from Augusta to parts of Rockland, and even in the parts of Bar Harbor, kind of reaching Bangor this morning too. And we will be watching soon for a few showers that will be developing as well. We do have clouds that are also tracking in, maybe a few returns of moisture further off towards the north, and we will soon be watching for a few rain showers that will be tracking in from the southwest and going toward the north and east in due time. Futurecast moving forward, some sunshine mixing in, but a few showers later on today. Notice more clouds and fog on the way coming up later on tonight. Notice moving forward some gusty winds up to 15 to 20 miles per hour, even 25 miles per hour this afternoon. Later on tonight, the winds back off briefly, but more gusty winds as we head towards tomorrow. Your hourly forecast for the morning and afternoon period, mostly cloudy, a few rain showers with temperatures in the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig?
All right, not a bad day ahead. Thank you very much, Devin. We'll see you later on. A Maine contractor is back in custody after admitting to violating his probation. Tony Glidden, who is the former owner of Mainly Roofing and Siding, had pleaded guilty to theft by deception back in July of 2022. In that case, he received a 3-year prison sentence and was ordered to pay restitution totaling $130,000 to 24 victims. Tony Glidden has now been charged with a probation violation for being caught with drugs back in January. He admitted to the violation in court yesterday and was immediately remanded back into custody. Glidden will face an additional 3 years of probation, after which he'll be released to a sober home. He will remain there until other housing is approved and available. The Maine Forest Service was called in to help fight a wildfire Thursday in Mariahville. Ranger Hayden Daigle was among those who were called to the Point Road when a fire erupted. Officials say it threatened 2 structures before it could be brought under control. Rangers say the Mariahville Fire Department managed to keep it contained to less than a half of an acre in size. It was caused by a tree branch that fell across a power line. The Department of Public Safety is mourning the death of Maine's first ever official comfort dog. Baxter was found dead Wednesday after he was left in a state vehicle used to transport him. The department says the 3-year-old chocolate lab was discovered inside the vehicle at the Bangor Regional Communications Center. They say they are currently reviewing the circumstances surrounding Baxter's death, and the vehicle is undergoing a thorough inspection to identify potential malfunctions that may have led to it unexpectedly stop running, which then turned off the vehicle's air conditioning. Baxter joined the Maine Bureau of Emergency Communications back in 2022 as the state's first official comfort dog. His mission was to help improve the mood and well-being of first-line responders in Maine's 3 emergency communication centers. The department says his, quote, calming and cheerful presence will be deeply missed by all those who knew him. Well, it's an electronic notification system meant to protect victims and community members. Within the past month, 4 jails in Maine launched a pilot program that will instantly alert individuals upon the release of an inmate. Our Doug Banks has more.
More and more individuals are being Today, faster than ever before.
Maine is the only state in the country without an electronic victim notification system built into its county and regional jail or state prison system. But according to Penobscot County Sheriff Troy Morton, they're looking to change that. About a month ago, 4 Maine jails launched a pilot program with Vine, a victim notification network utilized across the United States. Individuals can voluntarily register to be instantly notified of an inmate's release for any crime.
We did some testing inside here and it was a matter of seconds.
Sheriff Morton says the pilot program will not replace the current statutes covering certain crimes that notify victims upon an inmate's release.
Those processes will not be changed by this at all. This goes above and beyond that.
The system will only use information about the inmate that could also be found on the jail's inmate search. For the individual registering, Sheriff Morton says they'll only need to provide a means in which they'd like to be contacted.
You simply can go in with a John Doe name and register. And we only need to know, how do we contact you back?
Within the pilot program's first month, Sheriff Morton says there have been around 200 registrants and around 100 notifications sent out.
This is not the safe tool that's going to protect everybody in every situation, but it's another tool when it comes to that little peace of mind, whether you should take additional steps to make sure that you're protecting yourself.
In Bangor, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news this morning, to learn more about that pilot program, you can go to vinelink.com or simply visit this story on our website, foxbangor.com. Now moving on. After more than 60 years in operation, the majority of Job Corps operations around the country are now being closed down. The U.S. Department of Labor announced yesterday that it will begin a phased-out pause in operations at the centers nationwide. A statement says there will be, quote, an orderly transition for students, staff, and local communities. And according to the statement, the decision follows an internal review of the Job Corps program's outcomes and structure, citing student safety concerns and low graduation rates. Maine has 2 Job Corps locations, the Loring Job Corps Center in Limestone and the Penobscot Job Corps Center here in Bangor. The statement says the pause of operations at all contractor-operated Job Corps centers will occur by June 30th, meaning those that are operated by the Department of Labor there are a handful of Job Corps centers run by the Department of Agriculture. Those will continue functioning. As the transition begins, the department says they are collaborating with state and local workforce partners to assist current students in advancing their training and connecting them with education and employment opportunities elsewhere. Senator Susan Collins spoke out on the Job Corps Center closings last night, saying she is against the closures and had urged the administration to reverse that decision. She said in part, quote, I strongly oppose the Department of Labor's directive to pause operation at Job Corps centers in Maine and across the country, serving nearly 500 students in Maine. The Loring Job Corps Center and the Penobscot Job Corps Centers have become important pillars of support for some of our most disadvantaged young adults. As chair of the Appropriations Committee, I will continue to work to support this valuable program. All right, in the face of layoffs, Congressman Jared Golden has introduced a bill that would ensure adequate staffing at Acadia and other national parks nationwide. The Protect Our Parks Act of 2025 orders the reinstatement of any individuals terminated as part of the administration's mass firings. Those reinstatements are for the sake of overall safety and well-being of visitors, as well as natural and cultural resource protection. In a statement, Golden said, quote, as we approach the busy summer season, Congress must act to ensure our treasured national parks have the resources they need to meet their mission. Prior generations ensured the federal lands managed by the National Park Service were protected for us. Now it's our turn to step up and guarantee their future for our grandchildren. In other news, a bill that would have helped get funding for a railroad system between Portland and Orono has now been indefinitely postponed. Our Callie Warren with that story.
There are a lot of people in the state of Maine who either don't have licenses or don't have cars. It's another setback in the ongoing effort to introduce a rail system to more northern parts of Maine.
This wouldn't serve all of them, but it would certainly vastly increase the opportunity for them to travel.
LD 487 would have directed the Northern New England Passenger Rail Authority to apply for federal funding. That funding would have gone toward identifying the existing rail corridor as a passenger rail system. A close vote on the Senate floor Thursday postponed the bill indefinitely.
It was close by 18 to 17. It's an issue that we're going to have to keep fighting for. Ever since the issue of the Downeaster coming to Maine, it's been discussed for at least the last 25 years.
Patricia Quinn, executive director of the Northern New England Passenger Rail Authority, previously testified against the bill, saying there was not enough population density or demand along the corridor to warrant a rail system there. She also stated that the operation could cost hundreds of millions of dollars to start. Supporters of LD 487 say they won't stop trying to bring a passenger rail system up to the Bangor area, with polls showing support for the idea from Mainers.
They showed that 60% of the Maine people would be either riding the train occasionally or frequently, and 63% were willing to support it financially.
Well, we'll continue to work on this. It took us from 1989 through 2001 to get the Downeaster here.
In Augusta, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
A Maine-based law firm is closing its doors after 85 years of service. Eaton Peabody announced it will be closing its offices in Bangor, Portland, and Augusta on June 30th. The business opened in 1939. The firm cited evolving market conditions and demographics as the reasons for closing. All the Eaton Peabody attorneys and clients are now being transitioned to other firms. More than $4 million is coming to the state of Maine to reimburse costs for emergency repairs to infrastructure. Roads and transportation infrastructure were heavily damaged by severe storms between April of 2023 and January of 2024. Senator Collins made the funding announcement. She says severe weather in recent years has caused serious damage to infrastructure around the state. According to Collins, this funding will help recoup the costs of emergency response efforts to restore critical transportation routes. All right, the time now is 6:12. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, the city of Belfast has made a lot of improvements in recent years, and now some badly needed grant money will help clean up the city-owned properties. We'll have the details coming up. But first, another check of the forecast. It looks like a cloudy day ahead today with just a chance of showers, highs around 74 degrees. Mostly cloudy with showers overnight, lows dropping down to the mid-50s. Tomorrow, we'll see some thunderstorms early. Otherwise, pretty much a cloudy day ahead for Saturday. Highs tomorrow around 62. We'll be right back.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out Half Off Fun from foxbangor.com.
Unwind with a massage. Let me take away the stress of everyday life and allow you to fully relax. I offer Swedish, deep tissue, and prenatal massage. Healing Strength Massage in Bangor is your place for relaxing therapeutic massage.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with Half Off Fun from foxbangor.com.
On the Road, broadcasting the news at 6, live from Bar Harbor, is brought to you by Complete Tire Service Incorporated, serving customers in Ellsworth, Bar Harbor, Blue Hill, and surrounding areas with automotive repair and new tires. Shirley's Yarns and Gifts, where you can always get your yarns, but also cake decorations, unique gifts, jams and jellies, books by local authors, and other art supplies. And Bark Harbor, your local pet supply store located on Main Street in Bar Harbor, celebrating 25 years in business. We are proud to have everything for your pet.
Hey, good morning, America.
Good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Every day of your life.
Are you ready? Join America's favorite game.
You never know what's going to happen.
For the I can't believe it.
Oh, my goodness.
And always for the unexpected.
Treat yourself a round of sausage.
That's not it, but thank you.
Are you ready?
Who knows what we will do next?
Weekdays at 7 on ABC 7.
The new Acadia Gateway Center won't be open when originally planned. Michael Cole, the video and digital media coordinator for the Maine DOT, confirms construction on the new transit hub in Trenton is now running behind schedule. The $27 million center was originally slated to be open by the end of June. Cole says, as with any construction project of this magnitude, there's always the possibility of running into complications. He says they are now aiming to have tenants start moving in by June 16th and then to have full occupancy by July 14th. Traffic has been a big problem at Acadia National Park. People will be encouraged to park their vehicles at that center and then go to Bar Harbor and surrounding communities by Island Explorer buses. They'll also be able to get visitor information at the Acadia Gateway Center when it finally opens. 77 nonprofits in all 16 Maine counties are getting some help to meet their needs. A $1.2 million grant from the John T. Gorman Foundation will help them provide food, shelter, and other essential services for those in need. Some of the recipients include the Belfast Soup Kitchen, Penobscot Community Healthcare, Penquist, Healthy Island Project in Stonington, Friends in Action in Ellsworth, and the Heart of Maine Resource Center in Dexter. Nicole Weatherby, president and CEO of the John T. Gorman Foundation, says, quote, as conditions shift both at the state and national levels, many Mainers and the nonprofits serving them are facing growing uncertainty and need. They'll certainly welcome that assistance. Well, earlier this month, Belfast received a multi-million-dollar grant to help give parts of the city a much-needed facelift. Our Alex Schley with that story.
This month, the city of Belfast was awarded $2.5 million in federal funding.
We got two separate grants from the United States Environmental Protection Agency's Brownfields program.
$500,000 is allocated towards conducting environmental assessments of properties.
Private property owners are thinking about developing a site. They want to know more about a potential property that they own or thinking about buying and how, if it has any issues, and how that would work with a redevelopment.
The remaining $2 million is devoted to cleaning up two city-owned properties. The former Waldo County Courthouse, which is being repurposed as additional space for the city.
We're a little bit crowded at our current City Hall location. That one is probably a number of smaller cleanups as part of the building. You have, again, things like hazardous building materials like lead paint, asbestos.
The remaining funding will go towards the demolition of the Bradbury Manor.
Reduce it to a nice, clean, blank parcel that can be positioned for redevelopment.
The High Street property has sat vacant for nearly 30 years. City officials say the building has been found to contain numerous toxins, including lead paint, asbestos, and various toxic molds. Belfast Mayor says they hope the site will eventually be used to create more affordable housing in the community.
What it means for the town right now is the word housing. With relatively, I don't know, let's say 12 apartments or something like that. That's 12 housing opportunities that we don't have today.
Neighbors like Dana Linscott, who have lived next to the Bradbury Manor for 16 years, say they're happy to see it go.
I want them to demolish it. I've been waiting forever. You know, I mean, it's an eyesore. It is it. You can ask anybody, and they'll tell you to say it's an eyesore.
Officials say they hope to begin demolition on the Bradbury Manor in the fall. In Belfast, I'm Alex Schley for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
And the time now is 6:18. Coming up next, from wildfires to tornadoes, several areas of the nation have been coping with dangerous weather conditions. We'll have the latest coming up. Plus, a court rules the Trump tariff plan can continue despite another court's ruling. We'll also have the details on that as Good Morning Maine continues.
The Furniture Gallery has a surprise. We're now offering Tempur-Pedic and Stearns & Foster mattresses in all locations. Superior pressure relief, body-conforming support, and temperature-controlling technology. Tons of options to improve your sleep quality and reduce pain. Foam and hybrids available. At the Furniture Gallery, consider an adjustable base. Reduce snoring, customize your sleep position for an ideal night's sleep, splurge and add massage, and connect your TV speakers for the ultimate experience. Only at the Furniture Gallery.
Hello, this is George Whelan with Down East Direct Cremation. Now, anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, from the comfort of your desktop or the convenience of your mobile device, you can summon transport and arrange a simple, affordable, respectful Down East Direct Cremation for your deceased loved one. Just by using the button exclusively at downeastdirectcremation.com. All you need is the location address of the person who has died, their vital statistics information, a valid credit card for payment, and that's it. No need to pick up the telephone, no need to answer a bunch of questions, no need to come into the store, and it's still just $9.75 complete. It's so easy, even I can do it. For more information, visit us at downeastdirectcremation.com or call us at 207-225-5332. Simple, affordable, respectful. The Button, only at downeastdirectcremation.com.
Now to the severe weather, from tornadoes and wildfires to a record-breaking heat wave. One family was just rescued more than a week after a tornado trapped them in their home. ABC's Andrew Dimpert has more.
This morning, a relentless wave of severe weather, including wildfire, hail, and tornadoes across different parts of the country. In Georgia, this twister crossing Interstate 75 outside Atlanta. This home in Henry County destroyed.
We're finding debris all over the place, just phones and other things from inside the house are being located just great distances away.
An 18-year-old and his father were inside when the tornado hit.
The two occupants of the home were discovered having been thrown some distance from the location.
The teen suffered critical injuries. Severe weather also hitting the southern plains. In Austin, storms dumping piles of hail. And in rural eastern Oklahoma, a mother and her 3 kids were finally rescued after spending more than a week trapped by downed trees after a tornado. The heroes in this story, nearly a dozen inmates, part of a Department of Corrections work crew who stepped up when county workers were overwhelmed.
And all a man needs to do is be able to atone, and they've given us a chance to do that. You know, and if you can let a man atone, it really helps him, and we can go back and actually be, good members of society.
Today, the storms expand on the East Coast, from Florida up to Virginia. Soaking rains reach New York City by tomorrow, but no rain here in southern Canada. Dry conditions fueling wildfires, forcing at least 17,000 evacuations in Manitoba. Smoke crossing the border could hamper air quality across the northern plains and Midwest in the coming days. And in parts of the Southwest, record heat on the way.
Parts of California are bracing for a record heat wave with triple-digit temperatures. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
And it looks like we'll get a little taste of that storm system that's moving its way north. That will strike New York City first. Just a little rain around here, though. For more on that, here's Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Penobscot Boat Tours. Set sail with Penobscot Boat Tours for an unforgettable journey along the picturesque Penobscot River and beyond. Visit our website for more information and to schedule a boat tour at penobscottours.com. Welcome aboard. Already some areas of dense fog along the coast this morning. We will get that out of here later on. And then the focus turns to some sunshine and clouds mixed, and of course some rain that will be moving in soon as well. Wave heights not too bad. We have no advisories in effect, and notice the wave heights a little bit active farther out towards sea. On land we have clouds moving in. We'll lose the fog later on. A little bit of rain further off towards the north. Nothing too ridiculous yet. We will be watching for more showers that will be developing later on this afternoon. Notice more active weather further down toward the south and a little bit more toward the west. So nothing too ridiculous. This will stay away from us, at least for the time being. So Futurecast moving forward. So again, we will get the fog out of here. Mixture of clouds and sunshine. Some showers on the way coming up later on today. That will back off later on tonight. Clouds and areas of dense fog on the way later on tonight. And a big area of low pressure on the way as we head towards your Saturday. A good amount of rain on the way too, with some showers and yes, even some thunderstorms on the way that we will also have to watch out for, along with some gusty winds too. Futurecast actually underdoing it with the new run, but still some thunderstorms to watch out for. And then notice as we head towards your Sunday, also having to watch out for some of that active weather, which will also continue as we head towards not only Sunday, but perhaps a tiny bit as we head towards Monday, mainly across the northern parts of the state. And then it finally gets out of here as we head towards your Tuesday. And real quick with the accumulations, it's come down just a little bit, maybe a quarter of an an inch to an inch of rainfall before we're all finished up. So your forecast for today, mostly cloudy, some showers, highs in the mid-70s, and that south wind at around 15 miles per hour. Tonight, mid-50s, mostly cloudy, showers and fog, south wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, lower 60s, showers and thunderstorms, locally heavy rainfall possible, southeast wind at around 15 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Penobscot Boat Tours. Rain showers for your Sunday with highs in the low 60s, mid-60s for your Monday under a mostly cloudy sky, mostly sunny Tuesday with highs in the mid-70s.
The Heritage House restaurant in Skowhegan, where fine dining meets locally sourced ingredients. Indulge in the freshest seafood, succulent steaks, and an extensive selection of fine wines. Whether you're here for a special occasion, a delightful meal out with friends, or a casual lunch, you'll enjoy the freshest ingredients served in a charming atmosphere. Reservations are encouraged, but walk-ins are always welcome. For an unforgettable dining experience, visit the Heritage House in Skowhegan.
Like a relentless weed, moderate to severe ulcerative colitis symptoms can keep coming back. Break away to what's possible with Tremfya, with rapid relief at 4 weeks. Many people experienced remission at 1 and even 2 years. Some saw 100% visible healing of their intestinal lining. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Tremfya is now approved for Crohn's disease. Ask your doctor about Tremfya.
Spring is here. The warmth is creeping in, and before you know it, summer's heat will be here. Stay ahead of the season with the Fujitsu heat pump from Valley Home Services. Efficient heating in the winter, powerful cooling in the summer, without the hassle of bulky AC units. And with efficiency main rebates, there's never been a better time to install one. Act now before the rebates are gone. Embrace the comfort with Fujitsu and Valley Home Services. Call or click today.
This wasn't a normal homicide. Every detail made the case stranger.
Tonight, 2020 unravels an all-new true crime. Could a social media app help catch a killer?
That'd be crazy.
2020 tonight on ABC.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
The search for survivors continues after part of a large glacier collapsed and slammed into an alpine village in Switzerland. Rescuers have been working since Wednesday when a mass of rock and ice pummeled the village of Blaton. Homes and buildings were left buried under the thick sludge. There's also concerns the collapse could cause flooding because of all the debris that's clogging a nearby river. Officials say the mountainside of the glacier had been unstable since a smaller collapse last week, and they believe this week's warmer weather has accelerated the situation. Hundreds had evacuated ahead of this week's collapse, but some who stayed behind are still missing this morning. A man is lucky to be alive after getting pinned by a large boulder near Anchorage, Alaska. Kel Morris was on a hike with his wife when the 700-pound boulder came down and pinned him face down in an icy creek. His wife held his head above water for 3 hours while waiting for rescuers to arrive. It took several men with inflatable airbags to lift the boulder as the 61-year-old drifted in and out of consciousness. Luckily, he survived the ordeal with minor injuries, all thanks in part to his wife's quick thinking and the work of those rescuers. Well, more tariff whiplash. An appeals court has ruled President Trump's tariff policy can continue for now. It comes after a federal court blocked Trump's attempt to impose tariffs using emergency powers. ABC's Perry Russum has more from Washington.
This morning, tariff whiplash. After a federal court blocked most of President Trump's tariffs, an appeals court now ruling the tariffs can continue, at least for now, as the appeals process plays out. The fight centers around how President Trump imposed his tariffs, declaring a national emergency to bypass Congress. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent defending Trump's trade policies on Fox News.
The president absolutely has the right to set the trade agenda
for the U.S.
The court's latest ruling is another twist in the cumbersome rollout of Trump's tariffs, as the U.S. tries to negotiate deals with other countries.
We've seen no change in their attitude in the past 48 hours. As a matter of fact, I have a very large Japanese delegation coming to my office first thing tomorrow morning.
Trump's tariffs have led to economic uncertainty with stock market swings and retailers suggesting they're the ones paying the price, not foreign countries. Walmart, Macy's, and Ford among those anticipating price hikes because U.S. companies pay for the tariffs. Traffic at major U.S. shipping ports is slowing. The executive director of the Port of Los Angeles says business is softer than usual, with 10 vessel arrivals already canceled for next month. At the Port of New Orleans, a major shipping company is reportedly dropping the port from its Asian route, citing a declining demand tied to tariff uncertainty. On this new legal battle over tariffs, the White House confident they will win, but is preparing a plan B.
Is the administration actively reviewing other avenues, other options to carry out the president's trade policy?
The president has other legal authorities where he can implement tariffs.
On social media, Trump is defending his tariffs, writing he must be allowed to protect America against those that are doing it economic and financial harm. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
Well, meanwhile, federal authorities are reportedly investigating an attempt to impersonate the White House chief of staff. The Wall Street Journal reports the FBI says it's launching a probe into an unknown suspect who was impersonating White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles. The report says Republican lawmakers and business executives received suspicious messages in recent weeks from someone claiming to be Wiles. The report says Wiles believes her personal phone was hacked, giving the bad actor access to her contacts. Wiles is regarded as one of President Donald Trump's closest advisors. She also managed his successful presidential campaign last year. The report also says the FBI believes no foreign nations were involved in that latest scheme. Well, now the sex trafficking trial of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, one of his former assistants breaking her silence about alleged assault and abuse, saying she was once forced to go without sleep for 5 days straight. ABC's Andrea Fujii has the details.
This morning, a woman using the pseudonym Mia is due back on the witness stand 1 day after testifying that the years she spent working for Sean Diddy Combs were filled with physical and sexual violence. Mia testifying, "He has thrown things at me. He has thrown me against the wall. He has thrown me into a pool. He has thrown an ice bucket on my head. He has slammed my arm into a door. He has also sexually assaulted me." She said she was just months into her job when Combs sexually assaulted her at New York's Plaza Hotel while celebrating his 40th birthday, and she sobbed in court as she recalled sleeping in Combs' Los Angeles home and waking up to the weight of a person on top of me. "Who was on top of you?" the prosecutor asked. Mia replied, "Puff." "Why didn't you tell him no?" "Because I couldn't tell him no. I couldn't tell him no about a sandwich. I couldn't tell him no about anything." Combs denies sexually assaulting anyone.
Mia's importance breaks down into two categories for the government's case. She's an alleged victim in her own right, but she also acts as a corroborating witness to a lot of Cassie's allegations.
Mia also testifying about her sister-like relationship with Combs' then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, and her attempt to intervene when she says Combs smashed Ventura's head into a bed, leaving this scar, saying, "He threw me against the wall so quick and so easily, I realized we were in real danger." And she says after the Grammys one year, she and Ventura snuck out to go to a party at Prince's house. When Combs showed up, Mia says she and Ventura started running, but Combs caught up and attacked Ventura. Asked why she never called police on Combs, Mia said she believed Combs' authority was above the police. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
And coming up on the second half of the newscast, a lot of people have experienced the healing qualities of music, and that was the focus of a special free concert held in Bangor. We'll have that story along with all the day's sports news coming up on Good Morning Maine.
With McValue at McDonald's, you'll get deals on drinks whenever you hit the afternoon slump.
Fuel up for a hot afternoon with any size soft drink for $1.39. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Is 2025 your year to buy a home in Maine? Our team knows the questions and concerns buyers have during the purchasing process.
Finding your ideal Maine home in the right place for the right price
with no surprises is what we do.
You need to know what you can afford, where to find a lender, when to negotiate, and how to tell if a house is solid and safe.
For almost a decade, we've helped hundreds of people navigate it all, and we want to help you too.
We promise a professional buying experience from start
to sold.
Hi, I'm Tony Hafford from TC Hafford Basement Systems, the all things basement-y company. Basement waterproofing, basement structural repair, humidity and mold control, and nasty crawl spaces too. Since 1991, over 15,000 Maine homeowners have trusted TC Hafford Basement Systems to fix their basements. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basement-y.
Summer is here, and the professionals at Frost Garage in Hamden know how to keep your vehicle in top shape. Trade out your old tires for summer tires or all seasons. Oil, lube, and filter to keep your car running smoothly. Swap those dirty cabin air filters for easy breathing and fresh air inside. Replace those worn-out wipers and see clearly again. Get your vehicle in shape with help from the professionals at Frost Garage, 46 Western Avenue in Hamden, and online at frostgarage.com.
If you have to ask why it's important to start your day early, here's your answer.
A refreshing iced coffee in any size for just $1.29 during breakfast hours only.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Friday, May 30th, 2025, and it is also International Hug Your Cat Day. And it's also National Creativity Day as well, so you get your choice of which holidays to observe. Let's get right into history. It was on this day back in 1431, Joan of Arc, the peasant girl who became the savior of France, was burned at the stake after being condemned as a heretic. In 1806, future President Andrew Jackson killed Charles Dickinson during a duel in Kentucky. Dickinson had accused Jackson of cheating on a horse race bet and then insulted his wife Rachel, resulting in that deadly duel. In 1922, the Lincoln Memorial was dedicated in Washington, D.C. In 1934, the House voted to create the Everglades National Park to preserve lands in Florida. In 1935, Babe Ruth played in his last Major League Baseball game for the Boston Braves. He left after the first inning against the Phillies and announced his retirement just 3 days later. He had returned to Boston 16 years after being traded to the dreaded Yankees with hopes of becoming the Braves manager, but that didn't happen. In 1971, the American space probe Mariner 9 blasted off from Cape Kennedy on a journey to Mars. It was the first satellite to orbit the Red Planet. In 2003, the animated film Finding Nemo was released in theaters. And in 2024, President Trump became the first American president to be convicted of felony crimes. He was found guilty of 34 charges in a scheme to illegally influence the 2016 election through hush money payments to a porn actress. I think we all remember that one. All right, for birthdays today, they include country music great Winona Judd, who is 61 years old today. Singer and actress Idina Menzel is 54. And this is also the birthday of famous voice actor Mel Blanc, who passed away back in 1989. You may not know his face, but you'll certainly remember the characters he voiced, including Bugs Bunny, Elmer Fudd, and Barney Rubble. A lot of the cartoons some of us grew up with as kids. Happy birthday to all of them. Happy birthday to you too, if your birthday is today. Well, it looks like we'll have a little rain moving into the area as we head into the evening tonight. Maybe just a chance of a stray shower today. A little more rainy tomorrow. Here's Devin with the details.
Alrighty, Craig, thank you very much. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Penobscot Boat Tours. Set sail with Penobscot Boat Tours for an unforgettable journey along the picturesque Penobscot River and beyond. Visit our website for more information and to schedule a boat tour at penobscottours.com. Welcome aboard. Already some areas of dense fog greeting us this morning, mainly along the coast from Augusta to parts of Rockland Parkland, and even in the parts of Bar Harbor, kind of reaching Bangor this morning too. And we will be watching soon for a few showers that will be developing as well. We do have clouds that are also tracking in, maybe a few returns of moisture further off towards the north, and we will soon be watching for a few rain showers that will be tracking in from the southwest and going toward the north and east in due time. Futurecast moving forward, some sunshine mixing in, but a few showers later on today. Notice more clouds and fog on the way coming up later on tonight. Notice moving forward some gusty winds up to 15 to 20 miles per hour, even 25 miles per hour this afternoon. Later on tonight, the winds back off briefly, but more gusty winds as we head towards tomorrow. Your hourly forecast for the morning and afternoon period, mostly cloudy, a few rain showers with temperatures in the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Greg?
All right, thank you very much, Devin. And when we come back, Tyler Cruz with all the day's sports news. Don't go away.
If you love high-power boating, the V8 you've been waiting for is here. The all-new Honda BF350 V8 outboard from Honda Marine combines premium power with unparalleled performance for one exhilarating boating experience after another. It's Honda's first ever production V8, and it's backed by Honda's True 5-year limited warranty. The all-new BF350 V8, only from Honda Marine.
Save up to $5,000 on a new Honda outboard. Visit Peary Marine today for more details.
Ready to choose your adventure? At Harvey RV and Marine in Glenburn, they've got the perfect pairing for adventure seekers of all kinds. Explore the open road with their top-of-the-line RVs. Travel in comfort and style, whether it's a weekend trip or a cross-country journey with the family. Or make a splash with their incredible selection of boats. Experience the thrill of the water, from fishing trips to exhilarating water sports. At Harvey RV and Marine, you get to choose your adventure, or pick both. Harvey RV and Marine, Glenburn.
Spring into savings at the Furniture Gallery. Sleeper sofas in 3 colors and 3 sizes, starting at just $625. Save up to $200 on Scott Living mattresses. Save $100 on all full-price FlexSteel recliners and lift chairs. Save an extra $25 on all brands of clearance recliners and lift chairs. Save 10% on Ashley bedroom furniture and 15% on Ashley outdoor furniture. Shop our main family-owned business and save money. The Furniture Gallery.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. Collegiate spring sports seasons are winding down, which means national champions and award winners are being crowned, and one athlete from Pittsfield made a huge statement on the outdoor track. Thomas College sophomore and MCI graduate Emma Burr placed 6th in the heptathlon in the NCAA Division III National Championships. She also became the first All-American in Thomas College history, not just in track, but for any sport in the history of their athletic department. Burr was ranked 20th in the nation going into the meet, and after finishing 6th on the national level, she is setting her sights on more.
It feels surreal. It definitely makes me have to think bigger and get bigger goals. I was hoping. There's a difference between hoping and actually achieving, but I wasn't really expecting getting first team until my junior year, and now I definitely have to raise the bar for myself.
Burr says she feels the pride representing the state of Maine on a national level and that the support certainly helped her. But support isn't the only reason being from Maine helped her achieve these great feats.
If she were a horse, we'd call her a mutter. She runs really, really well in the rain. So it's rainy, it's windy, it's cold, and a lot of the warm weather kids struggled, and Emma thrived in that environment. So being a Maine kid helped.
I always am turning my head and talking to people about it, and they're very supportive for me, and they're all cheering me on, and I feel it helps a lot.
Big congratulations to her. Moving on now, 60 years ago, the entire sports world had all their focus right on Lewiston, Maine, and for a good reason, too. Heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali was scheduled to fight Sonny Liston at the old Boston Garden in 1965, but at the last minute, that deal fell through. The fight was then moved right up here to what was then called the Central Maine Youth Center, now the Lewiston Colisee. In front of a crowd of just a few thousand, the fight lasted just over 2 minutes, with Ali throwing that famous phantom punch that ended it all. Longtime Portland boxing promoter Bob Russo was ringside, and he says maybe the fight shouldn't have ended so fast after all.
Back in the day, what they would do is they'd use celebrity referees. So in that case, it was Jersey Joe Walcott, former heavyweight champ, that they put in the ring, and he was probably not that experienced. And so what happened was Ali knocked him down. Then he finally got up, and they started fighting again, and then someone from at ringside, I think he was the editor of Ring Magazine, said, "This fight's over." And Walcott, listening to a reporter, stopped the fight. But, you know, they were up boxing when the fight was stopped. A lot of people don't know that. All they can remember is that famous photo.
Really cool stuff there. They're actually unveiling a statue of Ali in Lewiston this weekend. Let's go to the Diamond now. The great stretch of weather this week continues, and I know the spring sports world is pumped about that. Over in Bucksport, a Class C North clash between Washington Academy and the Golden Bucks on the baseball diamond. Second inning, Trent Goss on the hill for the Bucks. He gets a strikeout here to end the frame. He had a dozen of those and skips over the fresh white chalk on his way back in. Bottom of the frame, Parker Cates on the hill for the Raiders, and he had a couple of strikeouts on his own. 6 on the day for him. Moving on now, same inning, 2 outs now, and it's Ryan Winchester, and Winchester gets all of this one deep to right field. That ball ends up across Summer Street and into the front yard. It is 1-0 Bucks. Next inning, Goss is at the dish, and he's going to help his own cause. Lifts one to right center. Matt Curtis is going to hustle around to score. That's going to end up being an RBI double for Goss, and the Bucks win it 4-3. Over to Cameron Stadium now, where Bangor hosting Messalonsky in some boys lacrosse. Picking it up in the second, Ryan Parent has it, fakes everyone out, including the cameraman, then picks that top left corner to make it 7-0 Eagles. Shortly after, Eagles with another chance, but Ram goalie Nick Horton, he is there to make the save. Here come the Eagles again now. This time it's Landon Stewart who rolls inside, finishes over the goalie to widen that Messalonsky lead. All right, here's Malachi Cusano now. He gets in on the action and scores one of his own, and then Parent again. He rolls to his right, switches to the left, and fires past the keeper. Eagles, they go on to win it. 19-1 is the final. For some other scores from around the area, Belfast baseball beats John Bapp 6-5. Washington Academy in softball hands Bucksport their first loss 2-1. Dexter softball beats Penquist 4-3, and Nokomis baseball takes down Lawrence 4-1. Staying on the baseball diamond now, the Red Sox, they couldn't lose on Thursday night. That's because they were off, heading to Atlanta for a series with the Braves. The Sox coming off of a sweep by the hands of the Milwaukee Brewers, losing Game 3 of the series in a way that's been all too familiar this season via a walk-off in extra innings. Their 6th walk-off loss this year. The Sox did have a 3-1 lead, too. They have now lost 5 straight games, and the offense has really been reeling in each loss. No one on the roster with over 52 at-bats is hitting above 300, and Alex Cora says simply, they're just not good right now.
We're just going to be better, you know, the bottom line from top to bottom, from the manager all the way to the players. You know, we have to be better. You know, it's, close games and all that, but we have to find ways to win games. That's it, you know. It's not early anymore. We know where we at. We know who we have on the roster, and it's not going to change. It's not going to change, so we just got to be ready for Friday.
Boston plays at Atlanta Friday at 7:15 p.m. That opens the series. That is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Happy
birthday! Did you know the best time to sign up for Medicare is 3 months before or after your 65th birthday? Medicare can be confusing. Let Senior Planning Center help you through the Medicare maze. See why thousands of Mainers have turned to Senior Planning Center for help securing a good Medicare plan. With locations and agents all over Maine, Senior Planning Center is here to help you. Call 207-223-6565 today to speak with a licensed agent with no obligation to enroll.
Dad's been through a lot this year, and his recliner, let's just say it gave up before he did. This Father's Day, do the heroic thing. Go to foxbangor.com and sign up to win a brand new recliner from Joe's Furniture in Newport. No purchase needed, just your name, a click, and maybe a little gratitude for Dad. Joe's Furniture, because even superheroes need a place to put their feet up.
Welcome back, everyone. Some lucky listeners in the community were treated to a free show by the Bangor Symphony Orchestra. The show focused on music's role in promoting healing. Janessa Bishop has more.
The orchestra's wellness and music program has been around since 2013. Their musicians have volunteered in hospitals and for the homeless to provide comfort and therapy. Select members from this program performed a variety of songs.
So this is an extension of our music and wellness program. The Bangor Symphony Orchestra started this program a handful of years ago as a way for us to get our music out into the community without necessarily the community having to travel to Orono at the Collins Center for the Arts, where we perform our big orchestra concerts.
It's interesting to think about what would be appropriate to play in a hospital setting. And so some of the pieces that you'll be hearing today are examples of that music.
According to the executive director of the orchestra, their partnership with Wabanaki Public Health and other organizations allows these events to take place.
We are also able to bring these kinds of concerts into the community with support, right? Nobody can do anything without support. So we're very grateful for the grant that we got from the City of Bangor Commission on Cultural Development, which helps to support these kinds of programs.
Along with performances, many people shared their stories about how the music program has impacted them.
I think initially they probably came to play for patients. I certainly thought that's why they were there.
But it was clear their music resonated with others too. Conductor Richmond shared that in the fall, there will be positive changes to these concerts, including different instruments, singing, and maybe even a new venue. In Bangor, Janessa Bishop, ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Very nice. Now for a final look at that weekend forecast, here's Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Penobscot Boat Tours. Set sail with Penobscot Boat Tours for an unforgettable journey along the picturesque Penobscot River and beyond. Visit our website for more information and to schedule a boat tour at penobscottours.com. Welcome aboard. Already some areas of dense fog along the coast this morning. We will get that out of here later on. And then the focus turns to some sunshine and clouds mixed, and of course some rain that will be moving in soon as well. Wave heights not too bad. We have no advisories in effect, and notice the wave heights a little bit active farther out towards sea. On land we have clouds moving in. We'll lose the fog later on. A little bit of rain further off towards the north. Nothing too ridiculous yet. We will be watching for more showers that will be developing later on this afternoon. Notice more active weather further down toward the south and a little bit more toward the west. So nothing too ridiculous. This will stay away from us, at least for the time being. So futurecast moving forward. So again, we will get the fog out of here. Make sure clouds and sunshine, some showers on the way coming up later on today. That will back off later on tonight. Clouds and areas of dense fog on the way later on tonight. And a big area of low pressure on the way as we head towards your Saturday. A good amount of rain on the way too, with some showers and yes, even some thunderstorms on the way that we will also have to watch out for, along with some gusty winds too. Futurecast actually actually underdoing it with the new run, but still some thunderstorms to watch out for. And then notice as we head towards your Sunday, also having to watch out for some of that active weather, which will also continue as we head towards not only Sunday, but perhaps a tiny bit as we head towards Monday, mainly across the northern parts of the state. And then it finally gets out of here as we head towards your Tuesday. And real quick with the accumulations, it's come down just a little bit, maybe a quarter of an inch to an inch of rainfall before we're all finished up. So your forecast for today, mostly cloudy, some showers, highs in the mid-70s, and that south wind at around 15 miles per hour. Tonight, mid-50s, mostly cloudy, showers and fog, south wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, lower 60s, showers and thunderstorms, locally heavy rainfall possible, southeast wind at around 15 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Penobscot Boat Tours. Rain showers for your Sunday with highs in the low 60s, mid-60s for your Monday under a mostly cloudy sky, mostly sunny Tuesday with highs in the mid-70s.
It's more than just your lawn. It's your grass kingdom, your green canvas, your fairway to heaven. It deserves the Kubota Z400. With class-leading speed, agility, a powerful transmission, simple deck height adjustments, and legendary Kubota quality. When you need comfort, convenience, and performance, then you need the professional-grade Kubota Z400. Visit your local Kubota dealer today.
Available at Doors Equipment, 1468 Outer Hammond Street, Bangor.
You provide it all. There's no challenge you can't take on, because you've already taken on everything. You've gone above and beyond. It feels like you've brought them together. It feels like your home is taken care of. It feels like you're all at the top of your game with high-speed, reliable, no-stress Fidium fiber internet.
It feels like Fidium.
She had nowhere to put it, so she told me I could have it.
Oh, no, I would never give away something that I had just bought. That would make me insane now, wouldn't it?
Hot Bench. Friday at 3 on ABC 7.
On the Road, broadcasting the news at 6, live from Bar Harbor, is brought to you by Complete Tire Service Incorporated, serving customers in Ellsworth, Bar Harbor, Blue Hill, and surrounding areas with automotive repair and new tires. Richard Parks Furniture now has Telescope Outdoor Furniture 30% off. See their showroom of contemporary furniture at their store in Ellsworth. And Coastal Auto Parts, your local Napa Auto Parts dealer with 30 locations, owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
For the team ready to conquer the grandest stage, immortality awaits. An unforgettable journey is nearing its finale. The NBA Finals begin June 5th on ABC.
School's almost out, and some health experts are reminding parents about the importance of keeping kids on a summer sleep schedule. Sleep specialist Brian Chen with Cleveland Clinic says the later you let your child stay up during the summer, the harder it is going to be to get them to readjust back to their school sleep schedule later on. Dr. Chen says it may take them weeks, even months, to transition back. He says it's okay to have some flexibility, but it's important to stay as consistent as possible with a bedtime and a limit to screen time before getting ready for bed. Something to keep in mind even this early on in the season. All right, that'll do it for this hour. We'll continue broadcasting on Fox 22 for the next couple of hours. But if you're heading out for the day, we hope you have a wonderful day, and we thank you very much for joining us.
make your dream deck a reality with help from Hammond Lumber Company. Choose from traditional wood, affordable PVC, or a beautiful low-maintenance composite decking. Hammond offers a variety of railing options too, including cable railing. Your Hammond sales rep will help you prepare your materials list and cost estimate and ensure you have everything you need. And Hammond delivers from 22 locations across Maine and New Hampshire. To get started on your new dream deck, bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
Hello, this is George Whelan with Down East Direct Cremation. Now, anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, from the comfort of your desktop or the convenience of your mobile device, you can summon transport and arrange a simple, affordable, respectful Down East Direct Cremation for your deceased loved one. Just by using the button exclusively at downeastdirectcremation.com. All you need is the location address of the person who has died, their vital statistics information, a valid credit card for payment, and that's it. No need to pick up the telephone, no need to answer a bunch of questions, no need to come into the store, and it's still just $9.75 complete. It's so easy, even I can do it. For more information, visit us at downeastdirectcremation.com or call us at 207-225-5332. Simple, affordable, respectful. The button, only at downeastdirectcremation.com.
Hi, I'm Tony with TC Hafford Basement Systems. All things basementy. Is your foundation shifting, settling, or cracking? Don't wait till it's too late. We offer the most reliable solutions to lift and stabilize your sinking foundation. With our advanced piering techniques, we'll ensure your home is back on solid ground. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basementy.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Good morning. To the Rockmount Post and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, we'll hear all about a new system at local jails that will inform victims when an inmate has been released. Plus, an effort to bring rail service to the Bangor region has derailed in Augusta. And Belfast is celebrating grant money that will help it spruce up the city. We'll tell you how. Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday to you. I'm Craig Colson. Emma Smith has the day off. We thank you for joining us. We'll have all the day's news coming up, but first to check with that important forecast. Looks like today will be a lot like yesterday. We'll see a lot of clouds, maybe a break of sun every now and then, and there's a chance for some scattered showers too. A better chance for rain as we head into the night tonight into tomorrow. Yes, more rain just in time for the weekend. For more on what we can expect, let's turn things over to Deb.